Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we will be looking at building another portfolio website. Please check out my previous video on building an interactive portfolio. I will have the links below. This tutorial will be a two-part series. In this part, the focus will be creating the Three.js menu. We will create this portfolio website using React, Three.js and Tailwind. We will be creating everything from scratch, so you guys can follow step by step. I will also have the repository link below. Please use it as you wish. Before we continue, please kindly subscribe to my video and click the like button. The node version I'm using is 16.13.2. Let's start a new React project. We will name it Portfolio React 3 Tailwind. Okay. Let's set up the Tailwind for the project. First thing is to create a React project, which we did already. Second, we need to install Tailwind. Make sure to cd into the project file before you install. Let's run the Tailwind CSS init command to generate the Tailwind config.js file. We need to configure the template paths in the Tailwind config.js file. Let's copy this and paste it into that file. Now, add the Tailwind directives to your CSS. We need to add these directives to the index.css file. If we run the project now, it should be running with the default template. Now, let's install all the Three.js dependencies. The first is the React 3 Fiber, which is React renderer for Three.js. Next is the React 3 Dry. It's a growing collection of useful helpers and fully functional, ready-made abstractions for React 3 Fiber. And finally, we install the React 3 Post-Processing. React Post-Processing is a post-processing wrapper for React 3 Fiber. Now let's run the project. The project should be running with Tailwind, Three.js and all the dependencies installed. There you go. We should have everything installed and ready to go. Let's clean up the project a little. Some of these files won't be needed, let's remove them. Once you are done deleting these files, we need to create a folder under source directory. We will name it Components. This is to hold and organize all the components for the portfolio website. Now, we are going to modify the index.js file. Let's remove all these imports and add few that we need. We need the create root component for React DOM, but not 3-fiber. Also need the sequence component from React. It's a mechanism for data fetching libraries, to communicate to React that the data a component is reading is not ready yet. And also loader component from React 3.js. Need to modify the root render to include the suspense component. If you run this, you will only see an empty white screen. Let's update the index CSS file. We need to apply custom font and background gradient styling. Now, let's create the footer component under the component directory. The classes I'm adding now are Tailwind structured class. Check out their site for more details on these. Now, we need to add the footer component to the index.js file. You should see the footer now on the site. Let's create a portfolio component under components. This will be the context for the body. Don't forget to add the portfolio component to the index.js file. Let's modify the Tailwind base class to overwrite the h1 and h2 tags to our styling. Also need to modify the Tailwind config file. We're going to add some custom theme like font family, text and background colors. These are like variables that we can use in the class component. Now, let's create a component for the Three.js interactive menu. First, we need to create the interactive menu.js file under components. We need to import this component into the portfolio.js file. Let's import some of the components that are needed. In order for the Three.js components to render, we need a canvas. Let's create that now. For the camera, we need a perspective camera with a field of view of 70. Let's add an ambient light to the canvas with the color and intensity. Next, let's add a spotlight with cast shadow enabled. Let's set up a global cube map for the scene. We're going to use the environment component with the preset of city. Don't forget to import all the Three.js components that we are using. Now, we need to create the custom menu component that will render the 3D objects, and the menu. We're going to use the group element to group all the mesh together. Let's add bloom to the scene as well. Bloom is a post-processing effect that will illuminate the objects. Let's create a spaceship component that will render the 3D objects. we need to add the spaceship component to the custom menu component. You can use this site to find free 3D objects for your projects. You can find the link below. And finally, let's add the custom menu component to the canvas. Now you should see the spaceship object floating on the screen. Pretty cool, right? Now let's create the menu buttons that will be floating beside the spaceship. Let's create an object called menu item. This will hold the menu context. Let's create a map loop to loop through the menu item objects. We're going to use the HTML component from Three.js Dry. This will allow the rendering of HTML objects within the canvas. Let's add a mesh rectangle to the background of the text. Now the menu looks right. Let's modify the Tailwind config to add some animations to the hover effect. You can see that I used that hover animation here. Now the hover animation is working perfectly, but let's add a component to make the object rotate on the mouse down. We're going to use the presentation control, with the global rotation set to true. The control component will allow the user to rotate the object. Also, we're going to apply the snap functionality to the control. So on mouse release, it will snap back to the original position. Let's add some shadows to the spaceship and the menu buttons. Now the shadow is visible on the scene. Everything seems to be working. So, that's about it for this part. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Remember, this is a two-part series, so please stay tuned for the next one. In the next part, we'll focus on creating different pages for the menu. Also, some cool transitions to view the page as well, including sound effects and background music. Thank you guys, until next time. Peace.